Good evening and welcome to another Q News video interview. My name is Michael James and I'm bringing you another fantastic guest today. We are but hours away from the debut of the next season of The Bachelorette. And this year, it's something very, very interesting. Someone very, very interesting even. Her name is Brooke Blurton and she joins me this afternoon. Good afternoon, Brooke.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Now, you're an old hand at this. This is your third run around the Bachelorette train.
I know. I am definitely no rookie to the Bachelor franchise or even just reality TV.
You must just like really spending a lot of time with Osher, don't you?
I do. I really do. The man is dapper. Like, how could you not?
He is a star. I love everything he brings to the show. I don't think it'll be the same without him. So what's it like working with him?
He is the most extraordinary man. He gives really good advice, but he doesn't know that he is at the time. Like, you could just be having a little moment and he'll just have like something to say, and it just kind of brings you out of a different mood, or just sort of shifts your perspective. He is a really good guy, and I was really lucky to work with him on previous seasons, but I think especially this one, I think we spent a lot of time together on The Bachelorette.
Of course, well, you're the leading lady now.
No, driver.
Because you've done the first season of The Bachelor, which was with the Honey Badger. Then you did the Bachelor in Paradise, which I just called the Drunk Bachelor. Now you get to be the leading lady. And this year is interesting because this year you're a double first. You are the very first queer or bisexual bachelorette, and also a First Nations person as well, which I think is absolutely fantastic. We're seeing both of those things represented on screen. How did you feel coming into this, I suppose, representing both of those things at once?
There was a point where I felt a lot of pressure, and obviously the pressure came from just making both those communities proud. I think at the start, I put it out to the universe about if I were to do The Bachelorette, this is actually how I would do it, and I wouldn't change it any other way. So look, here we are. But at the start, I definitely had, concerns about how, I guess, reality TV really emphasise on the drama and the tokenism, and they really exaggerate a couple of things, and I was really worried about this happening. So I kind of just voiced my concerns, and it felt like this year it has a shift in the Bachelorette franchise, in the Bachelor franchise, because I feel like I was heard. They changed a lot of things and they included a lot of things, so it could allow me just to be myself, really.
That was really what I was keen to hear about. Was, I suppose, you have to take this really, these are really important issues, like, public representation of queer people, particularly, bisexuality, which is so often erased in the media or just hypersexualized in the media. And you had to take these and lay that in the hands of these producers and say, I'm going to give you this, what are you going to do with it? Did you have some, I suppose, really big discussions about what you wanted and how they were going to treat you and treat these issues?
Absolutely. I feel like, the only way that I would be doing this is if I felt that I was getting everything that I needed in some sense and everything was heard. So, I voiced these things to production and to the network. It's fine. Unless you want to, it's totally fine. We know that dogs live. It's okay.
So joining me for the rest of our interview is Patch, who has decided that he would like to have a chat with our Bachelorette as well today. So he may be joining us for the rest of it, as he's decided he'd like to be involved today. So, Brooke, you were just saying that you had those conversations with Channel 10 about what they were going to do and how that was going to pan out. Did you have much control over, I suppose, the end product?
So more pre-production. So this year we got a First Nations consultant on board. So
that's
a lot of
fantastic.
Yeah, so a lot of things have shifted from previous seasons. So with having someone who, you know, identifies as queer or bisexual or whoever it could be, it might not have been me. I feel like they've definitely taken a lot of, I guess, care into what this means for me. And so they grabbed a inclusive consultant, and her name is Sam, and she came on this year to make sure that all staff were equipped with the right language around pronouns and inclusivity and all that sort of stuff, so that they weren't, I felt like I was in a safe place to be myself and not having to like educate everyone and to pull people up on like different languages and how to manage, or like, you know, how to divert conversations or whatever that was. And then I think first I had a First Nations consultant as well, who was obviously covering my cultural space, so making sure that I'm culturally safe and that I can you know, I'm not being fully like tokenized and being like this huge emphasis on Aboriginality. Like there will be things that will touch on both of those, but it's not going to be blown out like as it has previously been done, like, you know, Brooke's bombshell, Brooke's big secret. We all know that I'm one for headlines, and this is definitely another one of those. Like, let's be honest. And they're really elaborating on, you know, the bisexuality part. I have no problem with it. I'm very open about it. It's just what comes with bisexuality, and it's that hypersexualizing, what you said before. It's like, we're just like two genders. We're not bloody sex fiends.
Absolutely right. And that is like, that's so interesting and great to hear, because, you know, reality TV is long known for not being that sensitive and not being that protective. And I really am surprised to hear there's such extensive steps taken in that process for you, because that is so, so important. As you know, I mean, you come out of the program twice before.
Yeah, I feel like they've definitely taken a huge step in the right direction. I think they really wanted to do me some justice and not they really actually I don't say this lightly, because I think in previous seasons not a lot of, you know, production and crew really looked after me in some sense, but I felt very looked after in being the lead. But I think, you know, all things and experiences in your life lead you to somewhere. And in some part, I felt like, you know, this door was always going to really open. It was whether I was in the right time or frame of mind to do so. And at first I had my doubts whether Australia was ready, but then I kind of said, stuff it. I'm like, I'm ready. I don't really care. Why am I doubting where everyone else is at? I don't really need to make sure that everyone's inclusive. Like, I'm just like, well, let's just get it rolling. Like, let's just do it.
Absolutely. And how did that roll out on set with the other contestants? Like, you've got a whole new ball game. You've got half men, you've got half women. We're exploring a space that hasn't been there before. How did that come about in terms of the rolling out the show and having, you know, all of them in there at once, and how they handled that situation as well?
I think very similar to previous seasons. Like, we all know what the Bachelor franchise is. Obviously, it's a lot of flowers, a lot of art department, like lots of really extravagant dates. We love it for it. We love that it's reality, but it's not reality. Like, let's be honest. You know, some of the dates are always like so extreme, but we love the show for that reason. So that stuff is very, you know, the same framework, the same formula. I feel like the difference obviously is having the male and the females is just a different dynamic in connections, obviously with myself, but also with one another. And I think they live separately logistically. They don't live in the same household. They both have their privacies to do whatever they, you know, and then they come together for group dates, cocktail parties, and you know, interactions, so that they can have sort of like, you know, rapport, like have friendship, so that they can have banter and stuff like that. So yeah, I think a lot of people are really emphasizing on the drama and everything, but I feel like they'll be really surprised that there will be some, but not maybe as much as previous.
So not some of the usual shit shows that we've seen before.
I know. We're hoping not a repeat of some things, and, you know, like the C word and stuff like that. I don't think those are going to come out. Fingers crossed. Obviously, I haven't seen it yet, but look, I'm just hyping it up because I absolutely love filming it, and I'm hoping that it plays as I filmed it.
Yeah.
Because from what I remember and the feelings and the thoughts around it, like they absolutely nailed it.
Yeah, well, there's the story you see in your head and from what you remember, and then there's what's going to play out on screen. So how do you feel about watching that back now?
I'm excited for tonight. I really can't wait. I get to sort of see it before my friends do, so I can sort of play hostess. But when I see it, like, I think the first 5 minutes, I think a lot of people are going to really love. Oh, I think the first just 10 minutes of it is just like setting the standard of what this season is going to be. I think seeing it is so surreal. I think I hate watching myself. I cringe at everything that I do, and I'm like, oh, I should. You pick it yourself, but that's just like, natural behavior. I think no one really feels that comfortable on screen. But yeah, it's going to be very, very surreal and very unusual to watch back again.
Oh, the nature of being on TV, but I'm sure it's going to be fantastic to watch. Now, there's another dynamic to reality TV. You're on screen, but then you're in our lives and on social media. So I'm curious, what was that like when you came off your other seasons and those social media reactions that you would have had then, around the show, but also around your coming out, and I suppose the social media reaction and treatment since this season was announced?
Yeah, I put out something on socials about being kind to everyone because, just a little reminder that we are real people and that we have real feelings and emotions, obviously. So I find that, it's part of like the package in some way. It's the nature of the beast is social media. And I feel like from my previous seasons where I've come from to where I'm now, I've definitely learned to navigate that space. I personally have been really bloody lucky that I haven't really been highly exposed to a lot of trolling. I think a lot of people have really supported me in the last couple of years, but there's always going to be critics. And I think there'll be more this time around than anything, because I think a lot of people, I've already seen some commentary now and it's kind of like, it's overwhelmingly really positive, but then there's a short, then there's a short period or small group that are so old-fashioned, are so behind the times, don't know pronouns, don't understand it. Do you know what I mean? So that they're not progressive. So I can't impress everyone. God damn, like I'm only one person. I can't carry that weight on my shoulders every day because I wouldn't be able to be myself. I wouldn't be allowed to be myself. I need to allow to be myself in my skin. So the social media, yeah, it's the nature of the beast. But I think this time around, I think, Channel 10 have really turned off the commentary. I have turned off managing the participants' socials. So there's a lot of stuff in place this season to protect myself and also those who have come on the show.
Oh, that's fantastic again to hear. It sounds like there's going to be an interesting season. Without any spoilers, can you tell me what you're most looking forward to seeing, or your favorite moment that we're going to get to see on the program is?
I honestly think it's going to be this episode. I think the first episode, red carpet, meeting everyone, was definitely one of my favorite moments. And I think there's some more in the season, but it's only going to get better from here. And I think this one sets the standard.
Well, I can't wait to see it. I have a question, I suppose, touching on some of what we talked about already, about the future of the franchise now. Like, you are, I suppose, the trailblazer. You're our first. We've been campaigning for a long time. We should be having a gay bachelor, and we saw. I'm married with my partner for 17 years now, so that won't be happening. But we saw Liam, I think it was on Married at First Sight last year, and I suppose the reaction that he as a bisexual male got. I'm wondering what you think about what we would see if we were to have a male in your position as either bisexual or as gay in following seasons. I think we should have Jack Vigil next year.
I really look forward to it. I think it will happen in time. I think once people realize, like, I don't know, I think, to be honest, and this is my only comments, like, once people get over themselves in some sense, and kind of grow up, I think a lot of people just don't, know how to approach these conversations about any type of sexuality. I think it's so fluid and it's so different, but people don't know how to have conversations about it. And I think, and I think that, you know, my friends are a really good, I don't know, my friend said something the other day and it was like something about allyship. And I'm like, yeah, like just, we're all like one community. We're all sort of one country, and we're so separated at the moment because of COVID. But we're also human, like we're all human. Like, so why, we're also different in our individual ways, but we all, anyways, we were having one of those deep and meaningful moments, and it kind of struck a nerve in some way in my heart, because I was like, why is it taking so long to do this? Like, you know, I spend a lot of time in community, in Aboriginal communities, and I spend a lot of time in the queer community, and I don't see any difference to like heteronormative. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just, so once we sort of separate, you know, I mean, merge that, and people realize like these are just normal people trying to find love, whether they're gay, bisexual, whatever. Like, we want to see it. We live to see it. I feel like, well, if you've got any friends signing up for I'd love that. I've got connections now.
Yes. Well, we'll tell them. I will tell them. But as I said, I think we should see Jack Vision should be the next one. I would live for that. That would be the best.
Oh my God. I love Jack. Yeah.
He's gay. He's gay now. He's single now. So that'd be great.
Yeah.
There you go.
I love it.
All right. Well, what a perfect way to end on a fantastic interview, and all the best on the season. I'm sure it is going to be great, and hopefully we're going to be having a chat with you at the end of the season to find out who it is that you have managed to find love with for the third time on The Bachelorette.
Forward to it. Thank you so much, Mike.
Thank you so much, Brooke. My name is Michael James, and this is Patch, who has been interrupting us today. You can join us for more interviews by subscribing to the Q News YouTube channel by pressing the buttons down the bottom. And follow me on Twitter, michaeljames_TV, and be sure to follow Brooke and The Bachelorette on all of their social media channels. Thank you very much, and I will see you next time.